through to George. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, George.
Hi, Mark.
Hi. I just want to quickly say, firstly, it's a pleasure to speak to you. I mean, I'm a politics student in Hull, and I missed a chance to speak here recently, but would certainly like to try and email you to get you to come up and speak at university sometime this term, if possible.
Thanks, Mark. As long as I don't have to meet your MP, John Prescott.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I just want to say, on this whole entire thing, I feel quite depressed about the actual future. I'm finding it hard to find any optimism for the future because, whilst I think you are correct about the political solution that we need, I just don't see any appetite from Bush or Blair, and even the opposition in the UK and the US. I don't see an appetite to find this solution. I believe the appetite is firmly in, further warmongering, and as has been mentioned tonight, targeting Iran and possibly even Syria, and making the situation a lot worse, whilst at the same time eroding our civil liberties in the country, through anti-terrorism measures. And I just want to sort of put that point. I mean,
obviously these are powerful points, Mark, but what I would say is don't get down, get even. Go to my website, georgegalloway.com. You'll find the ways that we can try and influence things, because we mustn't just sleepwalk into this disaster. And believe me, an attack on Iran will turn out to be an unimaginable disaster. We mustn't sleepwalk into that. The reason I'm optimistic is that I think that Israel got such a shock on the battlefield in Lebanon and got such a shock at the tilt in the balance of public opinion and political opinion around the world that is clearly evident in the last 4 weeks, that she will, as the white settlers in South Africa did before her, decide that there comes a point at which it's better to cut a deal. Because if you don't cut it now, the deal you'll end up with in the future, imposed by other means, will be much, much less advantageous to you. And I have a feeling that we may be moving into probably a brief window in which that might be possible. And the terms of the solution have been laid out by me in the past for the TalkSport viewers, listeners rather, and I do so quickly again. There will be a comprehensive peace, there will be mutual recognition, there will be normalization between the neighbors of Israel and Israel, only on the basis that Israel withdraws from the territories occupied by force, that it allows the refugees to return home, that it allows the creation of a real Palestinian state, that it releases the political prisoners that it holds. On that basis, Israel can have peace with all of its neighbors. That's a prize worth having. If they don't take this opportunity, definitely more and more war will result. Thanks for that call, Mark and Hull.
Yeah, many thanks for your call, Mark, and good luck with the studies. 08704 20 20 20 is our number. Mike Dickin here from 10 tonight. Let's go to Abraham, who's in Richmond in Virginia. Abraham, you're on TalkSport and on Talk 107.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Galloway.
Good evening, Abraham. Thanks for phoning.
I'm actually Lebanese. I'm from Lebanon. I'm studying here in the United States doing my PhD. I really I appreciate your courage and support for Lebanese government. And I always thought that, politicians they don't tell the truth until I heard you on this interview with Sky News. I think that's a legendary interview. I have just a couple of questions. What do you think is going to take the government to understand that it's only peace that's going to solve the problem in the Middle East, no war? And specifically the Arab countries, what do you think about the reaction for different Arab countries of what happened after Israel invaded Lebanon and started bombing everything?
Well, Abraham, I'm going to interrupt you because we've got to press on quickly. We've got only 15 minutes left. The role of the Arab dictatorships, and they are virtually all dictatorships, from the Atlantic to the Gulf, either puppet presidents or corrupt kings, has brought them even lower in public esteem in the Arab world than they already were. Principally, the three countries, and you know who they are, who tried to inject the poison of sectarianism into this narrative, who tried to say to the Arab world that they should support Israel in its attack on Lebanon because this was an attack on Shiite Muslim heresy rather than an attack on the mainstream Sunni Islam, was rejected utterly by their own people. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, all of whose leaders tried to play this card, were all sharply rebuffed by public opinion in their own countries. So the regimes in the Arab world stand even more naked than they were before, but the populations of the Arab world have, I think, come to an absolutely crystal clear appreciation of what needs to be done. And I'm expecting big changes in the Arab world in the next little while.
Abraham, many thanks
Abraham,
for your call.
phoning from the United States.
Many thanks for that. Another international call on the show. George, just got to look at the texts and emails because we have been asking people to contact the show via both methods. One that's leaped out from Mark. He doesn't give his location. He says, George, do you appreciate that your opinions are offensive to most British Jews and that you are whipping up anti-Jewish feeling in this country? It's a harsh accusation. What's your response?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure how he knows that because I'm not aware of anyone who's taken the temperature of the British Jewish community. We did have one Jewish caller on earlier who entirely supported me. I can assure you that there are many, many more. How many more? Of course, I'm not in a position to know, and I don't honestly think that Mark is either. But the last thing in the world I'm doing is whipping up anti-Jewish feeling. I'm opposed to Israel. I'm opposed to the atheistic creed of Zionism, which has nothing to do with Judaism. But I'm not remotely against Jews, because to be against Jews would be to be a racist. And I have spent my entire life fighting racism, and I don't think there's anybody listening to this tonight seriously believes that George Galloway is a racist.
Many thanks for your email, Mark. I just want to make the point here at TalkSport and indeed Talk 107, the calls are being selected at random and fed through as they do come into the studios here. So we want to get as many people on as possible, including Jeff, who's in Greater London. Jeff, you're through to George.
Yes, good day, George.
Yes,
good evening, rather. I don't know what time of the day it is for you. I wish to challenge your remark that America is using this as a means of attacking Iran. This conveniently ignores the fact that Iran was the aggressor by supplying the Hezbollah with rockets, which they've been firing over into Israel, attacking innocent citizens for the past 3 years. And what about accountability then of Iran, of the Hezbollah? And has Hezbollah really done Lebanon a favour? My soundings are certainly not. Lebanese are peace-loving people, and these warmongers amongst them are doing them no favour whatsoever.
Okay, Jeff, thanks for that, and thanks for putting it in a polite way. I'm always glad to have a discussion with a civilized opponent, and you sound like you're one.
Oh, well, your flattery will get you nowhere, but carry on.
I just ask you this, Jeff, although unfortunately given the hour you're not going to be able to reply to me. I'm not sure why people can complain about Iran giving weapons to Hezbollah when Israel is given weapons on an unlimited scale by the United States of America. Personally, I don't believe getting weapons from George Bush is any more or less disreputable than getting weapons from Iran. The Lebanese resistance are entitled to be armed to resist the illegal occupation of their country by Israel. You don't like it, Jeff. I do like it. We'll just have to agree to disagree on that. But on the subject of civilian deaths, I'm sorry, you've just got it wrong. According to the Save the Children Fund, nearly 50% of all the 1,000+ dead people in Lebanon, some of whom I can smell from this building this evening, were children. Many of the others were women. The great majority of Lebanese casualties were women and children, and they were killed by weapons given to Israel by George Bush, and I don't regard that as being any more